lovely nerds. It's Faith the Ripper. Just kidding, it's Faith, just Faith. Yeah, and I'm back with another video. So today I wanted to make something different. So I'm gonna make a video, history and mystery based. This is what my channel is going to be about. But anyways, keep on watching and hopefully you'll like it. There's no way you're not liking this. So, the history I'm about to share with you today is about a killer, also known as Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper was an unidentified serial killer active in the largely impoverished areas in around the Whitechapel district of London in 1888. He murdered at least 5 women, all prostitutes. We're gonna dive into the 5 murders and find out more about it. All but one of the Jack Ripper's victims were killed while soliciting customers on the street. In each instance, the victim's throat was cut, and the body was usually mutilated in a manner indicating that the murderer had at least some knowledge of human anatomy. So the investigators assumed he could be a doctor. On one occasion, half of a human kidney was mailed to the police. The authorities also received a series of taunting notes from a person calling himself Jack the Ripper and purporting to be the murderer. On August 31, 1888, at 3:40 a.m., the body of Mary Ann Nichols was found in Books Row in Whitechapel. The body was discovered by a man named Charles Cross, who claims he was walking when he noticed a bundle towards the western end. Mary Ann Nichols was found on her back, her throat severely slashed. It was determined she had only been dead for half an hour, and the killer was probably nearby. On September 8, 1888, the body of Annie Chapman was found at 29 Hanbury Street. Her body was discovered by a man named John Davis, an elderly resident of the 29 Hanbury building. Her throat was cut, and this time the murderer took her womb. Later that month, on September 27, 1888, the Central News Agency received a letter from the killer. It read, quote, "Dear boss, I keep on hearing the police have caught me, but they won't fix me just yet. I have laughed when they look so clever and talk about being on the right track. That joke about leather apron gave me real fits. I am down on horse and shan't quit ripping them till I do get buckled. Grand work the last job was. I gave the lady no time to squeal. How can they catch me now? I love my work and want to start again. You will soon hear from me with my funny little games. I've saved some of the red stuff in a ginger beer bottle over the last job to write with, but it went thick like glue, and I can't use it. Red ink is fit enough, I hope. Ha ha. The next job I do, I should clip the lady's ears off and send to the police officer just for jolly, wouldn't you? Keep this letter back till I do a little bit more work, and then give it out straight. My knife's so nice and sharp, I want to work right away if I get a chance. Good luck. Yours truly, Jack the Ripper. Don't mind giving me the trade name. They say I'm a doctor now. Ha ha." This letter wasn't released to the public until October 1st, 1888, and many believe it was fabricated by a journalist, but regardless, it made its way to the papers. And the killer from that point on went by the now famous name Jack the Ripper. 3 days later, on September 30 at 1 a.m., the body of Elizabeth Stride was found on Berners Street. Only her throat was cut, which led the police to believe that the murderer was interrupted only after 45 minutes after the discovery of Elizabeth Stride. Another body was found in Mitchell Square. a woman named Catherine Eddowes, second victim in the same night. Her body was severely mutilated, including her face. Her uterus was removed, as well as her left kidney. Police discovered one of the few clues in this entire case, a piece of Catherine Eddowes' apron found near the scene of the crime. The apron was found by Alfred Long in the doorway of an apartment block near the Golston Street. Near this apron, a message was written in chalk that read, quote, "The Jews are the men that will not be blamed for nothing." End quote. The detail of this clue is that it was found east of the Eddowes murder site, in the direction of Elizabeth Stride's murder site, the murder that occurred just 45 minutes prior. This could mean that the killer willingly entered an area that was swarming with cops. This could also mean that the killer may have lived in the East London area. Later, another letter was received with the same handwriting, claiming it was the murderer. It read, quote, "I was not kidding, dear old boss, when I gave you the tip. You'll hear about Saucy Jackie's work tomorrow. Double event this time. Number one squealed a bit, couldn't finish straight off. Had not enough time to get ears for the police. Thanks for keeping the last letter back till I got to work again. Jack the Ripper." On October 16, 1888, a man named George Lusk received a letter. Lusk was the head of the Mile End Vigilance Committee, a group comprised of local businessmen to assist the police. The letter was signed, quote, "From Hell," end quote, and a kidney in a box was sent to the police, which was later found to be a prank by a medical student. Nearly a month later, on November 9, 1888, the body of the fifth and final victim was found at 13 Miller's Court in her bed. This murder was by far the most gruesome, as her body was virtually skinned down. And with that we arrive at the end of the 5 victims, but some believe it was up to 11 victims. We all are wondering if anybody caught a glimpse of this monster, and it seems that people did. It can be assumed that he was between 25 to 35 years old, roughly 5'5" to 5'7", with a fair complexion and a mustache. He was seen wearing a dark coat and a dark hat. His appearance was described as perfectly sane, perfectly normal, and yet capable of extraordinary cruelty. There were 3 suspects. One of the suspects is James Maybrick, as he died 1 year after the murders. Maybrick was an upper-class cotton merchant who resided in an estate called the, quote, "Battle Crease House," end quote, in Liverpool. Some would consider this to be a damning detail, as many feel the Ripper was a local man who wasn't upper-class. It should be pointed out that all the murders were committed on a weekend. It stands to reason that a wealthy cotton merchant would have the ability to travel on weekends, and it's also worth to mention that he would have the benefit of not killing in his own locale. Although what makes Maybrick such a popular suspect is the physical evidence that links him to the crimes. That piece of evidence is a diary discovered under the floorboard of Maybrick's estate. A diary that is signed, quote, "I give my name that all know of me, so history do tell, what love can do to a gentleman born," end quote. Yours truly, Jack the Ripper. The diary was discovered by a man named Mike Barrett. Barrett actually admitted that he fabricated the diary, only to recant the statement later. A gold pocket watch was found as evidence. The watch contains the scratched initials of the 5 victims, in addition to the praise. Quote, "I am Jack," end quote, and also, quote, "J. Maybrick," end quote. There were many theories about this case, but a good theory, in my opinion, is the one of Jack the Ripper being in fact a woman. And it makes sense because the police was looking for a man, considering the name. nobody would have guessed it's a woman, and it would have made it easier for the murder to pass through the police. Nobody would have suspected a thing. This is a really clever theory, to me. But hey, let me know what you guys think. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Stay safe. I'll see you in the next one. Until then,